everybody, JC here with another T&I toy review. And today's review is in association with MarvelousNews.com, your #1 news source for everything Marvel. And for today's review, we're going to be taking a look at the brand new S.H.Figuarts Iron Man Tony Stark figure from Tamasi Nations and Bandai. Now this figure comes packaged in a window box style of packaging. Off to the side you have an image of the figure, and then the figure's clearly displayed. On the side of the packaging you have another image of the figure, and then on the back of the packaging you have more images of the figure showing off the various accessories and poses you can put it in. And then down below a bunch of writing that I really can't read. Alright, let's get this open and take a look at what's inside. Okay, so here's a look at the figure outside the packaging along with the other contents. Now you get a little instruction sheet that shows you how all the accessories and everything work. And you'll notice that we get this power stage for Tony Stark, and there is some assembly required with that. So what you want to do is take these panel pieces, and you'll notice that you have pegs on the bottoms of some of them, and then some of them have holes. And so what you want to do is you want to just match them up so that the holes go into the pegs, and you're going to form a circle. So you just push them in, they snap right into place. And you want to make sure that the paneling side is facing upwards. And then once you've completed the circle, once you have all the panel pieces snapped in, then what you want to do is take this middle piece, and you'll notice that there's 3 holes on the bottom of this, and then there's 3 pegs sticking out here. And what you want to do is match the holes up with the pegs and snap this on in the middle here. And it should snap on nice and tight. And now you've got that center stage piece that you see in Iron Man 3 where Tony Stark is testing out the new extremis armor pieces with them flying through the air and attaching to his body. Now this stage doesn't have any kind of paint applications on it. It's just done, the base pieces are done with a dark gray plastic, and you've got the little ridges sculpted in there to give it that kind of metal floor look to it. And then you've got some metallic silver and white here, here, and here. And then up here on the center piece, it looks like they've put some, looks like what's supposed to be lights. Now this doesn't actually light up, unfortunately. It would have been cool if they'd made this so it lit up, but as it is, they've just sculpted the lights on there, but they didn't actually make them working lights. And then you can just take this and set your figure on the middle of it. There's no pegs on it. Of course, there's no peg holes on the bottom of the feet either, so, but it does stand on there pretty good. Tamasi Nations just recently announced that they're going to be releasing individual Hall of Armor display boxes for your Iron Man figures. Now those will light up unlike this middle piece, but if you want to complete your Hall of Armor, you're definitely probably going to want to have this center piece to go along with those. Get 3 different pairs of non-armored hands with this figure. You get a pair of closed-fisted hands, and these are the ones that come on the figure when you take it out of the packaging. Then you get a pair of grip hands for holding stuff, and then you get a pair of open hands with the fingers straight out. And the skin tone on all of these is pretty good. Switching the hands out is pretty easy. You just pop off the hand you want to replace. You've got the little peg on the arm, and then the holes are on the hand, and then you just pop in the hand that you want to replace it with, and it should snap right on nice and tight. Finally, you get several different pieces to the Mark 42 armor, so you get the lower arms and hands and the lower legs with the feet, and then you get this extra pair of open hands as well. And so you can switch out, if you want on these lower arm pieces, you can switch out the hands so that you can go from the closed fist to the open hands. Now these armor hands won't fit on the Tony Stark figure without this lower arm piece because the pegs are too small. So basically the way this works is you can recreate the scene when Tony Stark calls his armor pieces to him. And so what you can do is you can pull out the lower legs, and again, just like with the hands I showed you before, they just pull out, and you got the little pegs with the little holes, and then you just switch out with the armor pieces, and they should slide right onto the pegs and fit right in there. So again, basically it's allowing you to recreate the scene where Tony is basically trying to assemble his armor piece by piece, and it flies through the air to him. And just to give you a comparison, here's the S.H.Figuarts Iron Man Mark 42 figure along with the Tony Stark figure with the Mark 42 pieces attached. And just to note, just like on the Mark 42, these little pieces that go over the hand are articulated, but you want to be careful because it's easy to kind of knock them off if you're not careful. So for the figure itself, I think they've done a pretty good job with it. The head sculpt definitely looks like Robert Downey Jr., though it does look like he has an annoyed look on his face. I like the skin tone. He's got the goatee. The eyes look pretty good, though maybe his right eye is a little bit off. I don't know. It's hard to tell. But overall, I think it's pretty good. For the hair, they've used the brown paint, and then they've used that gold metallic for highlights. And I do kind of think they overdid it on the highlights. Then he's wearing that shirt that we see in Iron Man 3. It looks like an Under Armour shirt, and you've got the lighter gray, and you've got some darker gray here on the sleeve, and then you've got the almost black color throughout the body of the shirt, and you've got some white lines here on the front, on the back, and these little circle patterns are all sculpted in on the shirt, which looks pretty good, and you've got that on the shoulder and the inner part of the shirt. And then for the pants are just black, but I think they look pretty good. I like how they've sculpted the folds and the creases in the pants and everything. And then you got the pants that come down over the semi-dress casual shoes that he's wearing. And they've done a nice job of sculpting the laces and everything. And then the soles on the bottom of the feet. Good skin tone on the arms. Now I do have maybe a little bit of sloppiness of paint here on the shirt where the shoulders, the various joints of the shoulders meet, and it may be that the joints have scraped the paint a little bit. It's nothing too major, but like here you can see a little bit of black or darker gray washed over on the lighter gray here. So again, nothing too major, but just wanted to point out. And then for the individual armor pieces, I think they've done a nice job with the paint applications. These look just like the pieces that you see on the Mark 42 figure. You've got the crisp red with the metallic gold and silver, and again looks very much like we see in the movie. Now if you're wondering if you can take the Tony Stark head and put it on one of the other S.H.Figuarts Iron Man figures like the Civil War Iron Man, the answer is technically yes, but what you have to do is the peg on the Iron Man figure is actually a little bit too big for the hole on the for the head, for the Tony Stark head. So what you need to do is you need to take something like a pair of needle nose pliers and just pull the peg out that's on the Iron Man figure, and then you can stick this one. You want to make sure that when you pop off the head on the Tony Stark figure that you also get the little peg, and then you can stick it in there, and it actually fits on there pretty good. Not 100% perfect, but pretty good if you've been wanting an unmasked Iron Man figure with your S.H.Figuarts collection. So this figure stands just under 6 inches tall. Again, here's a comparison with the Mark 42 figure, and you can see that the Iron Man figure is taller than the Tony Stark figure, as it should be. And then here's a comparison with the Civil War Captain America S.H.Figuarts, and you can see Captain America is a little bit taller. Here's a comparison with the Hasbro Marvel Legends Iron Man figure with Tony Stark head, and definitely the S.H.Figuarts Tony Stark head looks much more like Robert Downey Jr. And here's a comparison with the Hasbro Marvel Legends Civil War Spider-Man figure and Civil War Captain America figure. So for articulation, you can turn the head to the left and to the right, and he's got pretty good down movement. The entire neck moves, and he can look back pretty good as well. You do get a little bit of separation between the neck and the body when you have him look back. You can also pivot the head to the left and the right a bit. Arms are tapped with ball joints, so he can get his arm out good. He also has that kind of inner butterfly type joint, so you've got a little bit of back and forth movement there at the shoulder. He's got good rotation. He doesn't have a bicep swivel. He does have rotation at the elbow. He's got those ball joints, those S.H.Figuart type joints for elbow. So he's got good bending there at the elbow. He's got good rotation at the wrist. He's got the little ball joints on the hand, so he's got up and down movement there. He's got a midsection joint, which is attached basically with a ball joint, so he can rotate there at the midsection, and then he can crunch down about that much, and he can look back about that much. He's also got a waist swivel. Now this crotch piece is actually done with a soft rubber type material, so sometimes if you have him rotate, that the pants kind of get stuck on the shirt, so that's just something to be wary of. And then the legs are attached with ball joints, so he can do the splits about that much. He can get his leg forward about that much, and he can do his leg back about that much. He doesn't have a thigh swivel. He's got, again, those S.H.Figuarts type joints for the knee, so good bending at the knee, and I just popped off the leg there with the ball joint. And then you've got rotation with the feet, and you got a little bit of up and down movement, but because the pants come down over the feet, that limits that movement some. Has a little bit of pivot, but not a whole lot, and then he does have toe articulation as well. Okay, so that's my review. Overall, I like this figure. I definitely like the head sculpt. It looks like Robert Downey Jr. I also like the fact that you can put it on other S.H.Figuarts Iron Man figures. figures. The rest of the figure looks pretty good as well, and if you've basically just wanted a Tony Stark figure, I think this one will fit in nicely with your collection. I also like the fact they included the extra armor pieces so you can recreate the scene from Iron Man 3, and that display center stage piece if you're going to build out your Hall of Armor once they release the individual armor display pieces. I think that'll be a nice thing to have. So this figure is available now. You can pick it up any place that sells S.H.Figuarts like Big Bad Toy Store. We'll have a full image gallery up at marvelousnews.com. There'll be a link in the video description below. As always, leave a comment. Let us know what you think. If you're so inclined, please like the video. Also, if you haven't already, please follow me on my Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram accounts. I'll have links to those in the video description as well. And until next time, I'll catch you later.